Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Deep Threats. I apologize today, we're running a little bit late. As you can see, it is just me, KJAM, your host of the show. This is going to be a wild one. We had a fun day yesterday at my daughter's first-year birthday. So thank you all for who were watching and were there. Appreciate it. Also wanted to give a shout-out to Ohio State. Thank you for winning that game against Notre Dame, because the last thing I want to do is hear from some fans that are Notre Dame fans here in Ohio. Saying that, I'm going to jump into something for you guys today to kind of start off the show. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen this clip before, but let me tell you, this is how I feel all the time. Get ready for it. I got to unmute the TV so you guys could hear it. And here we go. I mean, that right there just says how a lot of Browns fans feel, Ohio State fans feel, and all that stuff. Because I'll tell you right now, everybody sits here and harasses Ohio. And you know what? I get it. I can't even be opposed to it. Just because of the simple fact that, like, what do we do? What do we do in Ohio half the time, man? We constantly talk smack, and we outside of Ohio State, we don't always back it up. So I completely understand it. Thank you, Day, for telling everybody how I feel about that situation. It's awesome. But before we do anything else, I know that in the news that there are some enjoyable information and tidbits out there. Browns fans. It seems to be, and this was the news I saw actually super early this morning, that Nick Chubb had only tore his MCL. And that is incredible with that hit. If that's all he tore was his was like mitochondrial lateral or something like that, that is, it's not a mitochondrial. That's actually part of your cell. But if all he did was tear the MCL, that is incredibly. I'm happy for Nick Chubb. I don't know what to say there outside of that. I mean, that's ecstatic. I mean, now you're looking at less than a year recovery. And because it's not the anterior lateral, it's not as bad, which is a big difference. Mute the TV. That was... The TV shouldn't be on now. I don't hear a TV. Yeah, there shouldn't be a TV on now. The TV was on for the Jeff Day quote. I don't know if you guys heard the Jeff Day quote. If you did, let me know. I can replay it without the TV on. I thought that you guys could only hear it through the TV. But let me replay it for you guys and see if it makes a difference without the TV on. You guys tell me. I mean, if you heard that, I'm telling you, like, I was ecstatic when I heard that this morning. I thought it was so exciting and so, I mean, there's so much energy behind Day. But that being said, there's also another thing in the news. I know this is going on for about a week. I forgot to bring this up on Thursday. Odell Beckham is going where no man has gone before, and that is inside Kim Kardashian. That is a joke. Please take it that way. But apparently him and Kim are seen together. And then all of a sudden, Odell's not playing this week. I think I called this a while back. Odell would be missing week 3. And it was a joke. Odell is so fragile. I just assumed he would be missing like the rest of the year. But he's not apparently. It's just, I think it's a ankle sprain. He's just missing this week. Along with Justice Hill, who a lot of people saw a huge uptick in volume fantasy-wise for Justice Hill this week. So he will also be out this week. Another few notable outs would be Anthony Richardson. He will not be playing this week. Gardner Minshew is taking the start on that team. Bryce Young also not going to be playing this week. I think Andy Dalton's taking the start there. Who else is out? We'll get into the games. I just wanted to give you guys a few things in the news. Like I said, Nick Chubb injury, not as bad. We're looking at 6 to 8 months recovery, which is surgery should be coming in soon. They're probably going to go in, repair the MCL, come back out, give him a few weeks recovery, go back in, scope, clean up, see if there's any damage to the meniscus. And then they're probably going to go into rehab within like 2 months, and then he's going to be springing back. And I think you'll see a Nick Chubb on fire the next year, but obviously he's out for the season. So disappointing for Browns fans, but we're not going to hang over that all day today. But I will say, hey, let's jump into the 1 o'clock games for everybody, because I know that's the only reason people come here. They come here to hear me and Wheels, who is also out with an Odell Beckham injury, but he is not in Kim Kardashian, unfortunately. Sorry, Wheels, if you are watching. But that being said, we have the Indianapolis Colts going up against the Baltimore Ravens week 1 without Anthony Richardson. So Gardner Minshew will be taking the snap, which is ecstatic for Gardner. Congrats, bro. I'm happy to hear it and see it. I really am. So, like I told you guys, Odell out. Justice Hill out. I think that's about it that I saw this week. Zay Flowers is probably a stardom this week. They're gonna be slinging the rock. Especially, this is actually a weird game here. You would assume Gus Edwards is probably gonna get a high volume game today, because this is how I see this game kind of rolling out. Is that the Colts come out, they have a hard time scoring. The Ravens take the ball downfield and they score a few times, and then usually what would happen is that Gus Edwards and then Melvin Gordon, who is also the backup running back behind Gus, would be taking a whole bunch of snaps. But my issue with that is they really want to test this offense with the pass, and I see a lot more pocket play and Lamar Jackson throwing the ball this game and trying to get some rhythm and chemistry with like Bateman, Zay. Maybe Mark Andrews plays for a little bit, comes out. Isaiah Likely goes in and plays the bulk of that second half. And then on top of that, like that's kind of where I see this game going. That being said, if the Ravens go up by 3 scores, Gardner Minshew's got to sling it, and we all know Gardner can sling it. So this is a day where I'm starting Josh Downs. If I'm anybody, I'm starting. That's not Paris Campbell. It's I always forget this kid's name. Sue me. Team players. I'll just type Josh Downs. All right, so obviously you have Michael Pittman. I always screw that up because they were on the same team. So I'll see a lot of Michael Pittman today, Josh Downs, and then Alec Pierce has been on the field almost 100% of the time. This could be the day where he gets like those 3 or 4 targets and gets like 2 or 3 of them for like 40, 50 yards because he's a downfield guy and they got to sling it. So that's what I see happening in that game. If it were me, I think the covers today, I think the Ravens are favored immensely. They are favored by 8.5. I'd probably take the Ravens on that one. The over of 44, I actually probably would take the over on that one. So just giving you guys, I don't know. What would you guys do out there if you guys are watching? I'd like to hear it because does Indy have a chance in this game? I mean, they're 1-1 to start the season. Ravens are 2-0. We're looking to go 3-0. So I think this is a Ravens game, and if the Ravens lose this game, it's the only thing I can think of is due to injury. Like I don't even think the Ravens can hand this ball away and lose this game. That's how bad this team is without Anthony Richardson. But then again, Gardner stepped up before and shown that he can do it. So I just don't trust him today. But I start everybody on that Ravens offense because I think everybody's going to get the ball on that Ravens offense. All right, moving into the next game, we're going to jump into stay in order, KJ. We are going to jump in. I'm sorry I don't have any graphics for today to make my life and your life easier. We're going to jump into Tennessee Titans at the Browns. That's also another 1 o'clock game. Jerome Ford's going to take the backfield for Cleveland for everybody out there, so he will get the snaps this week. It's probably going to be more of like a 60-40, 70-30 with Jerome out there to lead the game, and then Kareem Hunt will come in and get a lot of repetition and snaps. If Stefanski doesn't do it this week against the Tennessee Titans, I get you don't have Nick Chubb, but he better relinquish play calling to Van Pelt, because if he doesn't, I think his job's on the line. If he starts the season, and we've talked about this, if he started the season like 0-5 or even like 2-7, I think that he's in a situation where he gone. They might actually promote Van Pelt to see what he can do as a head coach. And at this point, I wouldn't be opposed to it, because if you're not putting your quarterback in a place to succeed, especially for Deshaun Watson, who succeeds out of the shotgun, we got an issue there. Tennessee Titans, Tannehill is the most accurate quarterback since he's been in Tennessee. He's got like 100, maybe not accurate, most efficient. He's got like 109 QBRs since he's been in Tennessee. So not a lot of mistakes, but he also doesn't sling it a lot. He's like 25 times a game. He's maybe 20 receptions, maybe 18 receptions a game. But against this Browns secondary, I'd be a little worried. They're looking good. You only have DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know if Westbrook Ikine or Treylon Burks could outperform this secondary. I mean, what they've done to the Bengals offense, not giving any yards up after the catch, what they've done to the Steelers offense. The only person that actually really kind of performed on that Steelers offense was Pickens. And to be honest, I think that was a broke down play. Pickens ran for like 50 yards, and might have been 70 yards actually. And that was majority of their offense, like 180 yards or 210 yards. And it was Jalen Warren on a big play and Pickens. So Tennessee Titans, Derrick Henry. My dad says Derrick Henry goes for 2 touchdowns today, and I completely ixnay that. I say Derrick Henry, if you're looking at the over-under on him, I don't even give him a touchdown personally. That's just how I feel about it. I think this defensive line is prepared and only prepared for Derrick Henry, and they're going to do their best to keep Derrick Henry under 60 yards and no score. I think that's the goal of this team. Tyjae Spears, looking great this year. Every carry he's got, he's averaging over 7 yards per carry. It's looking great. He could actually be a big key in this offense. Him and Derrick Henry are taking that backfield and just running over everybody. And everybody knows how I feel about Tyjae Spears. I just traded like an arm and a leg for Tyjae, a first. I lied. I think Bo traded an arm and a leg for T. Higgins, but I got Tyjae, a first, and a few other guys out of it. But hey, he wanted T. That's what he wanted. So, that being said, the over-under on this game, I would assume that Tennessee's favored after losing Nick Chubb. That's my assumption. What do you guys think? If I can find it. There it is. But what? The Browns are favored by 3.5 in this game. Over under 40.5. Actually, it's adjusted. We're looking at 30 and 38.5. Ugh. I'd take the over. Take the over on that one too. I know that sounds crazy to take the over on 44 for the Ravens game and the over on 38.5, but the Browns are putting up points, just not stopping anything because we turn over the ball more than we score. Thank you. And Tennessee, I mean, solid defense, young, but I think there's a lot of holes in that defense. I think that if Stefanski's smart, he can scheme around that. The if he's smart is the problem. Let's just move on because this is one of those days where I'm going to try to get through these games as fast as possible. You got the Atlanta Falcons against the Houston Texans. I lied. I don't know why I said that. Atlanta Falcons against the Detroit Lions. Everybody on Detroit is a stardom against this Atlanta defense. Sam Laporta. Names are flying off my head today because maybe I shouldn't have drank yesterday. You got Jared Goff, stardom. Jahmyr Gibbs, stardom. Amon-Ra, stardom. I don't start Marvin Jones, but you know what? He hasn't had a touchdown yet, so maybe I'd start Marvin Jones because it could be his week here eventually. Atlanta Falcons, Bijan, stardom. Tyler Algier, stardom. You got to start both their running backs. I'm going to start Drake London because this is probably going to be a high-scoring game. I think the over-under on this one might be surprising to many people, but we'll see. The over-under is 46.5, so actually not surprising to people. So, that one, I might take the under. 46 is high. And usually when two offensive teams match up, they focus such highly on defense that Detroit's defense might actually look good today. So it'd be kind of dangerous to take the over on that one. But I will say Detroit is favored by 4. That's a pretty close game. It is in Detroit. So that I kind of like the home field advantage on this one. I would take Detroit in this one. To cover the spread, probably too. So maybe like by 5. Maybe Detroit wins this game like, I don't know, 28-23, 24. So the 28-24 is the 4 spread. So if it's 23, they cover the spread by 5. So I can see it. It'll be impressive. It could actually make us feel like Detroit has the ability to kind of, I mean, that's one of the best offenses right now. Are they ranking 3rd on defense? What? Atlanta hasn't played anybody. How are they ranking 3rd on defense? That's per NFL, by the way, that Atlanta's ranking 3rd on defense. They're 4th overall in rushing, 28th overall in passing, and then 16th overall on offense. So they're middle of the pack. Whereas Detroit's 4th on offense, 5th on passing, 14th on rushing, and then 20th on defense. Which, by the way, is an upgrade for Detroit because I think they were like 30th on defense last year. So they moved up 10 spots already. That's impressive for some people. All right, moving on. I know you guys probably tuned out at this point if you're watching. I got nobody to banter with. It's one of those things. I'm just gonna harass people the whole time, and all I gotta say is it's gonna be a fun day just because I get to see the Pittsburgh Steelers play the Raiders. I might jump into that game next because I think that game will be impressive. No, is that a late game? Oh my God, that's the prime time game. That's kind of disgusting. Saints Green Bay. This one will be fun. I don't know if this can be an offensive battle. Both defenses are good. I'm going to assume that the over-under on this game somewhere probably around like 38. Saints 42.5. Well, 42. So 42.5, 43, depending on where you're betting at. Green Bay is only favored by 1.5 at home. It is at home for Green Bay, so that could be a little hard, but I see the Saints winning this game. Love Green Bay fans. You're great people, but Jordan Love hasn't played the defense yet, and this is a defense. So I think that Jordan Love's going to make a lot of mistakes in this game, and I would start the Saints defense today. I'm not saying he won't score. I'm just saying I see some turnovers. I see him getting sacked a bunch of times. This is one of those days where Jordan Love is about to see what a defense looks like, because it wasn't any of those teams he played the last 2 weeks. Kendra Miller is the starting running back in this game for the Saints. Jamal Williams is out. I see a bunch of Tony Jones getting mixed in there too. So I probably, if you're looking at the run game, you're looking at probably 60, maybe 55, 45, Kendra, Tony Jones. So almost a 50-50 split. And then you're looking at a lot of Taysom Hill packages today. If you got Taysom Hill and you're starting him at that tight end spot and you don't have a good tight end, might not be a bad waiver wire pickup today. So a lot of Taysom Hill. Derek Carr, I think this might be the day. He is playing a good defense, but I think this could be the day where Derek Carr figures his shit out. I really do. Rashid Shaheed's looking good. Chris Olave is looking good. Him and Michael Thomas got to find a connection. Or Michael Thomas just might not have it anymore. He's 31 years old. So who knows? 30 years old. He might not have it anymore. Who knows? He's catching everything thrown his way. He's just, there's nothing after the catch anymore. He used to have a lot of yak, and it's gone. It's kaput. No more. So yeah, I got the Saints winning that game. Probably 23-20. I see a fairly low scoring game, but that's still 43 points. That's actually funny. Again, I pick it right at the money line. That's disgusting. I hate that. That's how you know Vegas just has somebody that just watches every game and they're like, this is what it looks like. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's what happens. So Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars. It's gonna be my upset. This is my upset of the week. I say that the Houston Texans beat Jacksonville today. And I'm not a fan of it, just because I'm a T-Law owner, but this is a game where I see a lot of holes in the Jacksonville defense. I see that the Houston Texans have been getting increasingly better week in and week out. CJ Stroud is like passing the most amount of passes and has the most amount of receptions for a rookie quarterback, essentially. I think he's like second of all time, or since 1950 or something stupid. CJ Stroud's looking good. Nico Collins looking good. I see a lot of Tank Dell today. And then I think what's the other kid's name? I can't remember. I don't like Dameon Pierce just because of the receiving purposes, but you got to start him if you have Dameon Pierce. He's their number one back. So, this will be an intriguing game. I look forward to watching this game. This game to me might actually be like one of those game of the weeks because there's so much youth here, and these are two up and coming teams. So this could be a fun, very fun game to watch. And then we'll get into the. Actually, I should probably say the over-unders on that and who's favored, huh? Who is it? Where are they? Where are you? Houston, over under 43 and a half. It's changed. So, wow, 43 and a half. So, looking at a pretty decent scoring game. The Jacksonville Jaguars are favored by 10. I'd probably take Houston to cover that. I pick Houston this game. I've been wrong on that all last week. So, I picked the winners. I just didn't pick them to cover. I definitely was not accurate on Thursday's game. I was horrendously off on who could win that game. And the Giants, actually, to my defense, the Giants looked good in the first quarter. After that, the Giants fell off a cliff and San Francisco showed up. So that was disgusting. The Giants need to just tap out for $45 million on their quarterback and just go get somebody else at this point. And I'm a Danny Dimes fan. I'm pissed off with what's going on with Daniel Jones right now. You look like shit. Saquon's proving his $13 million right now. It's disgusting. Denver at Miami, the other 1:00 game. This is just garbage. I got Miami winning this game. Just Denver. Denver has not looked any better. I don't even think they look better defensively, which is not a good thing for Sean Payton because he was supposed to come in and at least do something on the defense. I mean, what are they favored by? Oh, I keep passing it up. 40. Wow, they're only favored by 6.5. That's crazy. I take Miami to cover that. I see Miami winning by 2 scores. By 10 at least. The over-under is 48. I take Miami like 32 to 24. So I smash that over. Smash it. I got to do my prop bets too today after this, because it'll be fun to see what we got going on there. I think everybody's. I think we see a lot more Jaleel in this game. I know a lot of people are seeing Jaleel McLaughlin. I think he actually might get some touches in this game. He might look pretty good. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, got to start them both. I'm not liking their tight ends. That's just because it's, Russell hasn't used tight ends really kind of historically. We can all talk about Jimmy Graham when he went to Seattle. It just didn't look good. I mean, occasionally he used Disley. That's about it. Miami, I like everybody on this offense. Mostert's supposed to be going off today. He's a stardom. Just because they see Miami going up by 1 to 2 scores and then just running out the ball, keeping Tua out of harm's way. Because, to be honest, if I were any team and I'm up by 3 scores at this point, I would bench Tua. I don't want Tua in there. I don't want to risk injury at all with Tua. He's so good when he's on the field. The team plays a lot better when he's on the field. No Jerry Jeudy. No Jerry Jeudy. This is, you have Brandon Berrios, I think his name. And then you have Creecraft is the other guy's name. I like Creecraft over Berrios because Berrios is small. Creecraft seems to get a little more uptick in targets, even though I think they've had the same targets. The volume looks better when it goes to Creecraft. So I see a lot of Tyreek Hill and Creecraft in this game. And I'm sure Creecraft and Berrios are probably on both of your guys' waiver wires, especially Creecraft. I wish I knew his first name. I'd say it for you guys. And then I see maybe a little bit of Durham Smythe today, just because you got to spread the ball when it's not Tyreek Hill. You don't have Jalen Waddle in this game, so you got to spread the ball to everybody else. So a little bit of Durham in this game might actually be an upside. They're gonna sling it. It's Miami. They don't run the ball. They sling it. Even when they're up by 2-3 scores, they still sling it. So I hope they let Mostert run the ball. A-Chain is back. So he might actually have an uptick in carries if they are up by 2 scores, meaning 14, not 10. So 2 touchdowns. A-Chain might actually have an uptick in carries. And I see about 15 carries for A-Chain today because they drafted him this year. Another ridiculous game for you guys is the Chargers at the Minnesota Vikings. This is supposed to be I wouldn't be shocked if the over-under on this is 55. This is supposed to be a gunslinging game. And to be honest with you, I'd take the under on these because these are those games that you just sit there and look at it and you're like, I don't see it happening. So that might... What the heck? Oh, it's next week, isn't it? All right, so the Chargers, 54. 54. I told you guys. And Minnesota's only favored by 1. And that's because they're home. That's just home field advantage. Now, you're cool, Wheels. Man, it's cool. I mean, we got to go through it. At least you're in the chat now. Better be popping in here and making some chats. You said you couldn't speak today. Too busy playing with Odell and Kim Kardashian. Is that the issue? Getting in that bootay. Yeah, so Minnesota, start everybody on this team. I lied. I don't know if I start Madison. I don't trust him yet. Oh, and also what happened, obviously, they traded for Cam Akers, but they traded, I think a 5th round in, 2026. So they, handed the guys a candy bar for Cam Akers. So I don't know. Cam Akers might get some touches, but they already came out and publicly said that he's not going to be ready to go this week. So I see Devin McBride is, I think, back on the team. And then you got Madison. So if they do go up and the defense somehow stops the Chargers, who haven't turned over the ball and are averaging 30 points a game, I just don't see it. This is a game where I'd almost hit the over on 54. I can see this going high because this is just nothing but high flinging offenses that just cannot win the game. And aren't they both 0-2? I think they're both 0-2. Somebody's got to win. No, they don't, Wheels would say in the chat. They are both 0-2. So I would take the Chargers to win this game just because I like their defense a little better. A little better. Maybe Chargers 35-28. Maybe. I like that. 35-28 Chargers. Yeah, you like the over 2 on this one, huh? I agree, Wills. And then, so, like I said, start everybody. I'd start. I don't know if there's anybody I wouldn't start on the Chargers. You've got, I can't remember the running back's name. Joshua Kelly. I'd probably start Joshua Kelly today. Honestly, Wheels, if anybody owns these team defenses, I'm kind of shocked. If you have the Chargers defense or Minnesota's defense, you should probably drop them and pick up, like, I don't know, anybody else. Anybody else. I mean, I think there might be a Canadian defense still left in. Just pick them up. Because both these defenses don't show up. I would take Notre Dame's defense over both these defenses. And they didn't show up in that fourth quarter. That's for all you Notre Dame fans. I think that's it for that game. Patriots over the Jets here. I don't know if you guys remember. So the Jets are 1-1 thanks to their defense. Patriots are 0-2, but they played probably one of the hardest schedules to start the season. I don't know if you guys remember the Jets-Patriots last year. I think it was 9-6 Patriots. I think. It was disgusting. I don't even like starting Breece Hall or Dalvin Cook today. Because what's the one thing that Bill Belichick's going to do? He's going to take away what you're good at. The only thing that they're good at, Zach Wilson threw for 300 yards last year, but also 3 interceptions. In that same game. That was 9-6, right? But it's so funny because I think that it's rough. It's rough because I don't know if you can start Breece Hall or Dalvin Cook today because Belichick is gonna take them away. He's gonna take both your running backs away because he only has to take the run away and they're both similar. Zach Wilson is gonna have to run for his life because Belichick's gonna bring pressure, and all he has to do is play man. The only thing I could see, you know what? Yes, I start Garrett Wilson. I do start Garrett Wilson because Garrett Wilson can't throw interceptions. Yeah. Gonna for Wilson to throw. Force. Yeah, Zach. I start Garrett Wilson today, though. And then I'm starting. No. Do you start Mac Jones against the Jets defense? Or does the Jets defense have holes this year because of how often they're on the field? That's a real question. I mean, I start both defenses. If you could pick, there you go. If the Patriots defense is sitting on your waiver wire, go pick them up and play them this week. Actually, just anybody that plays Zach Wilson, just go pick them up and play them weekly. Just follow it. So if you like Mac Jones, I'm assuming you like Ramondre Stevenson in this game. And then I would assume you like, I can't remember the wide receiver's name ever. Nakobe Dean? That's a defensive end. That's a defensive end. I can't believe I just said that. Myers. No, Jacoby Myers. He's on the Raiders. Jacoby gone. He's on the Raiders. You've done this like 4 times. I can't remember his name. Damn it, Wheels. How dare you? How dare you mess up in chat? You have a computer in front of you. Where is the Patriots game? Here it is. All right, Patriots. Who's on the roster? Injuries. They are Booty's out. DeAndre Parker's out. Oh no, questionable. Parker's a questionable with a knee. And then Traquan Thornton looks like he's out. So actually it says Devontae Parker is their starting receiver and that's it. Which I know is incorrect. This might be a Hunter Henry game. Hunter Henry Gesicki. Oh, they do. Kendrick Bourne. That's who I was looking at. Kendrick. Juju just has not been there, man. I don't like Juju on this roster. He's their third tight end in reality. They should have never got rid of Jacoby. I think Belichick made a huge mistake getting rid of Jacoby. If you had Jacoby and Kendrick Bourne with a little bit of Devontae Parker, I think you'd be good. No, Juju's never been a number one, and people keep hiring him like he's a number one. Juju's never been a good number one. Even when he was in the Steelers and they asked him to be number one, he was incapable. He's never been I think since he's been a number one receiver, I don't think he's ever had 1,000 yards. I don't. So Juju's just not a number one. He's like, if you go put Juju on a team like, actually Tennessee. If Tennessee were to have Juju with D-Hop out there, and then you have Westbrook, Akine, and Treylon, like Juju would probably perform because DeAndre Hopkins would take a lot of the coverage, and you'd put Juju single to single, and he's a good 50-50 guy. Like, if you throw a ball his way, he's good. So, it's just, Juju just is not a number one receiver. So, and if you got him on your team, I'd trade him. That's for you, Mario, because I know you're just holding on to him and just let him sit on your bench and rot. Moving on from this game, because we see the Patriots winning this game, 13-7. That's what I see. So what is the under? What is the under for the Patriots on this game? Was it like 12? That'd be actually funny if the odds in this game were like 12. 35.5. I'll take the under. I can't believe I'm taking the under on a 35.5 point game. That is disgusting. All right, moving into that next game. Let's jump on to the Buffalo Bills at Washington. Can Washington beat a legitimate team? Can they? Can Sam Howell outperform the Buffalo Bills defense? And if so, what's the score? Because I'm going to be honest, I think Buffalo walks away with this one. I think this is a hole for Washington. I think they are going to have a hard time stopping Josh Allen today and keeping him down on the run. I would take Josh Allen over 45.5 rushing yards today. I like Stephon Diggs, but I know that they're going to do their best to protect the over the top because that's where Buffalo's been exceeding and excelling. And they're not going to let Bieniemy's not going to let them run away with that. But here's the question, Wheels. I get you say Bieniemy at OC, but the defense of Buffalo is still a solid defense. It's still a solid defense in Buffalo. They didn't lose a lot. So the over-under on this game is 44.5. I might take the under on this game. And then on top of that, I think Buffalo's favored by 6. I take Buffalo. I like Buffalo in this game. I don't know if Sam Howell has the ability to overcome a top 10 defense. Arizona's playing well, and I think they beat Arizona. And then I'm trying to think who they beat last week, which was kind of a shocker. Was like Carolina or something like that. But there was no opposing quarterback. It wasn't Carolina. It was somebody else. I don't remember who they beat last week. But it's just one of those things where like I just don't know if Sam Howell is capable. I know Bieniemy's capable, but I just don't know if Sam Howell's capable. Cortland Sutton, or not Cortland. Scary Terry, I start in this game. Curtis Samuel might have a decent game today because they're going to try to find a way to get the ball out of Sam Howell's hands pretty fast. So Curtis Samuel might have a decent day today. Godwin. I don't know if I like Godwin in this game. Wrong team. Is it Godwin? No. It's the other rookie. Is it Jahan Dotson? Is that who it is? I like Jahan. Jahan Dotson in this game. Yeah. I like Jahan Dotson. Buffalo, I mean, I got to start Diggs because it's Diggs. James Cook, if Buffalo takes a lead, is going to run the ball. But it's against a good defense. So James Cook will be kind of a shocker in this game. I don't know if I like James Cook in this game. And I like Josh Allen. Gabe Davis might get away with 1 for 50, but I don't see a lot of receptions by Gabe this game. So, but he could have that break-off touchdown. You like Brian Robinson in this game? Checkdowns, I'm assuming. What about Gibson? Who's the receiving back in this game? That's the question. Like, who receives the ball? Is it Brian or is it Antonio Gibson? I think it's Brian Robinson, actually. I think that's a good call. Maybe I like Brian Robinson in this game. Gibson fading because I think Gibson is a more of a downhill back that they don't utilize, and they need a guy to check down to because, you know what? That's funny. I'm glad you said that. Bieniemy, the way he ran the offense in Kansas City, I saw a lot more checkdowns. I saw a lot more running backs kind of dropping behind the defensive line and just giving a safety valve for Mahomes. And I don't see that in KC anymore. I really don't. But with Bieniemy, I do see that. So Brian Robinson, actually PPR-wise, might not be bad. Maybe like 5 receptions for like 25 yards and then maybe 10 to 12 rushes for like 50. Nah, probably 15 rushes for like 50. So that might not be bad. Yeah, definitely not a 1 or 2, but definitely a flex. I agree. So I'd take Buffalo in this game, probably like 28 to 17, and that's covering the 6-point spread. I like Buffalo in this game. I think this is a challenge for Washington. But to be honest, if Washington goes 3-0 and wins this Buffalo game, stars the limits, man, because Buffalo is it's a playoff contending team. Stars the limits. So I think it's the sky's the limits, but I think it can go beyond the skies. I think stars are the limits. I'd like to see Sam Howell do something, even though I think he's a Baker light. I'd like to see him do something. I don't root for any of these quarterbacks to have a horrible career. I don't play. If I were out there on the field, man, who wouldn't want to feel that feeling every time you win a game? The defense is old. It is old. But, I mean, I'm not going to say much about, like, Scary Terry's, like, 28, 29? Like, Scary Terry's getting up there. They're all, 30 years old for a defensive player isn't that old. It's just injury prone when they get that age. They still move, man. I know some 30-year-olds that they get off. They move. They move. So I don't like the old argument in this one because they still were playing at a premium level last year and they only got a year older. So, and it's still early in the season. Now, if it was week 10 and you said they're old, I might take that argument a little more beating on them. But Vaughn's been out all year. I don't think Vaughn's going to see the field till like mid-season. If they're winning games, like let's just say they win this game, they're 2-1, you're not going to rush Vaughn back. You're competing for first in your division against Miami, but you're hoping that the game you want Vaughn back is when you play Miami. That's when you want Vaughn back. So, Carolina at Seattle. I don't even want to say much about this game. The only thing I guess I could say is Bryce Young's out. So this is an Andy Dalton game, if I remember correctly. Andy Dalton is starting. And then I don't know. Maybe Andy Dalton can win this game. Andy Dalton has pretty good pocket presence. He's got good weapons. And Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen might be a starter for me this week. Andy Dalton might take a couple shots downfield. DJ Chark's healthy. DJ Chark might be a sleeper, but not a stardom. So, like, if you have to start DJ Chark, maybe, but I'm not starting DJ Chark. The rookie Mingo might get a lot of PPR just because of the underneath routes that he's going to run. So, I don't know about Terrace Marshall. Not sure about that one. What about the Seattle in this game? Defensively, Carolina's been better. I still start everybody in this game for Seattle. I start Kenneth Walker. I start DK. I know he's dealing with injury, but I'd still start him. They said he's playing today. I'd start JSN. Tyler Lockett. Everybody's going to get the ball on this team today. They've been putting up numbers this week or this year, so I like kind of everybody on that offense. What's the over-under on this one? It is for Carolina, 42. I guess it depends on where you're betting, but it looks like 42 is the over-under. I don't know if I'd slam the over just because can Carolina score? It's Andy Dalton, not Bryce Young. Yes, I'll slam the over. I'll slam the over for 42. I will. Maybe I'll do a betting line this week for a parlay for the over-unders. That might be fun. Baltimore. No, wrong team. Seattle is favored by 5. So, and they're at Oh, they're in Seattle too. So, yeah, I definitely take Seattle in this game. Favored by 5. I'll take them to cover too. I like Seattle in this game. Dallas, Arizona, 2 defenses facing off head-to-head. We're just going to all assume Dallas is winning this game because Arizona's throwing it. Right? I mean, that's the assumption. Something has to be wrong here. The over-under on this game is 13 points. 12.5. No, they flipped the odds. Okay, Dallas is favored by 12.5. Over-under is 43.5. That was a stupid thing on me. Trayvon Diggs out on Dallas's defense. You obviously got to take Dallas to win this game, but Arizona's kept every game close, so I would take Arizona to cover. I mean, I would, honest to God, take Arizona to cover, which is weird. But I might take the under. I might take the under 43.5. You still, I think, have Josh Dobbs starting. Yeah, I mean, you got Marquise Brown out there, James Conner. You're going to start all those guys just because that offense has been putting up some points. Dallas, the only people I like are Dak and CeeDee. No, I lied. I like CeeDee and the running back. It's escaped my head. Oh, my God. Zeke and... What's his name? Where'd it go? Tony Pollard. I'd start Tony Pollard and CeeDee. I like both these guys in this game. So, I mean, it'll be a fun game. I like Dallas in this game, though. I mean, I think that's obvious for everybody. If you're not betting on Dallas, like, probably shouldn't bet at all, to be honest. Chicago, Kansas City. This is a funny game because they've been talking about this all over the news because they don't want to ever be wrong. So what they do is they'll come in and they'll be like, this could be the team that could upset Kansas City. And they really are bad against running quarterbacks. And like this could be the team. This could be the team that beats Kansas City in this situation. And I like Chicago. And then I'm like, has anybody seen Justin Fields throw the ball? Anybody? Has anybody? Because I'm going to be honest, Wheels said that he could pick off Justin Fields at this point because he's throwing it horribly. The only thing I like about Justin Fields this week is his rushing upside because Kansas City does not play good against running quarterbacks. So, yeah, okay, Justin Fields will have a great game. But outside of that, like, Kansas City's going to win this game. I'm not going to beat around the bush on this one. They are favored by 12.5. I might take Chicago to cover that favor because Kansas City hasn't been looking too good offensively either. Tony is playing today for all you guys out there that have Kadarius Toney. He is playing today. Isaiah Pacheco is supposed to play today also. So their offense is still back on the field. But, I mean, I see a defensive battle here. And Chicago's defense is bad. So that's why I do see some plays being made. If Kelsey's healthy, like, what, maybe 32 or 28 to 17 maybe? So 30. That's under. See, even in that, I took Chicago to cover because it's 11-point win. They got to win by 12. I'll take Chicago to cover. You take Kansas City to cover the spread because 31-10 is a 21-point win, which I don't have that at all. At all. DJ Moore is going to get his because I don't know if they have anything in that secondary that can stop DJ Moore in Kansas City. I don't. So, and all you got to do is find DJ Moore in open field, and he's going to do his. He's going to get his. I don't like the running backs in this game for Chicago, outside of the quarterback, who's the running back 2.0. Lamar Jackson, light at this point. Ryan's sitting here in his shoes. I told you, KJ, Justin Fields is worse than Lamar Jackson. I just don't like the play calls. I don't. I like Mooney in this game. I take Hill, 3 receptions for 50 yards. Hill. Who's Hill? DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool. Who's Hill? Oh, him. Mistype. I apologize. I just caught it. All right. Yeah, we'll move on from this game, Wheels, and we'll get into the next game. The next game is the primetime game that I wanted to talk about because it's Steelers. Can the Steelers go into Las Vegas and beat the Raiders? That's the question. And I would hands down say this is a defensive win for the Steelers. Jimmy Garoppolo will use a lot of checkdowns. I like Jacoby Myers in this game. Minka, I don't know. Minka, I would assume, is healthy after the last game. I would assume Minka is healthy. So I don't see a lot of downfield big plays because of that. Jimmy Garoppolo will do his best to keep the ball safe. Josh Jacobs in this game I like because the Steelers have been giving up like 180 rushing yards per game. So I love Josh Jacobs in this game. This is probably Josh Jacobs' bounce back game here. Steelers, I like all that. I mean, I like Allen Robinson this week. I like Pickens this week. I want to say I like Freiermuth this week. They don't target their tight ends. I like Freiermuth for like 8 points. So if you're looking for 8 points out of a tight end, I like Freiermuth this week. I don't like Pickett this week just because I see some interceptions. But if you're looking for 18 points out of a quarterback, you can start Pickett. What's going on, Warrior? Welcome to the show, brother. It's just me today. Wheels is in chat. Harass him. Tell him to get here. I like the Raiders in this game, but I think the Steelers win this game defensively because that defense is just so stacked. I mean, they are so good at defense. TJ Watt had 1 sack last week. I see 2 sacks this week from TJ. I don't know. I might bet on that one because you could take the prop bet on TJ on this one, and I might take it. Highsmith's looking good. They could, if they had Cam Hayward, man, like that defense was stacked. It would look stacked. The only thing they're missing is corners. So, what's up, Mike? Matus. This is the game Warren takes over the backfield. I agreed. I actually said that. My dad doesn't believe me, and a lot of people think but Jaylen Warren could take over the backfield, but the Raiders defense is also not that good. So, like, this could be the type of defensive game where Najee can show that he can maintain it, which is the reason why I like Jaylen Warren next week, not this week. But Jaylen Warren, the screens, is playing phenomenal. Like, granted, Canada, by the way, the instead of saying "Oh Canada," it's "Goodbye Canada" in Pittsburgh. It's hilarious. You guys got to watch Pittsburgh Dag. He has this breakdown of no more Canadian bacon. I'm sick of Canada, and the final joke's hilarious. It is hilarious. But yeah, I think Jaylen Warren takes over this backfield. I completely agree. I think that Najee's job's on the line. It really is. I don't think Najee's going to get a contract from the Steelers after this year. I think that he's not worth a franchise tag for $10 million. I think that Najee is going to be going to a team that has a depleted backfield, and this might sound weird for me. I kind of like Najee as a backup in Cleveland because we have such a good offensive line and we create such big gaps. It might help Najee succeed, but Najee's bad. Would you trade Nakua and Mostert for Derrick Henry? Are you in a win now league is the question. Like, are you 2-0 and are you looking to pop off and finish this year? Or is this like a league where like it's a keeper league or a dynasty league? Because I actually am looking at Puka Nakua to trade for just because of his youth and his production level. Because he's getting like 12 to 15 targets a game. So, like, if you're getting that many targets, and even if Cooper Kupp's coming back, I still think Puka's the 2, and they throw the ball 50 times a game at this point. I don't think... I mean, here's the thing. I don't like Mostert for the rest of the season. There's only key games I like Mostert in. He's 31 years old. Mostert is going. They're going to start pulling from Mostert. They're gonna. If Jeff Wilson comes off the IR and Devin Achane is playing better, Mostert will lose some value later in the year. Right now is the sell high for Mostert. So if you can trade Mostert, I would. But like Puka Nacua is one I don't know if I have a trade. I like Derrick Henry going towards later in the season. But if it's like a keeper, like I said, if it's a keeper league, I don't like Henry in a keeper league. I like Henry in a win now mentality. Just because Henry is going to put up. Henry's been putting up points every game. I mean, he's averaging 60, 70 yards a game right now rushing, and he's like 1 touchdown a game. So I am 2-0, non-keeper league. Need help at wide receiver 2, but I could use Henry. No, I wouldn't do it. I like Mostert and Nacua over Henry. My second RB is Chubb is out. I like Mostert and Puka Nacua's calculated points over what you're going to get in Derrick Henry. So no, I wouldn't do it. Unless you're going to get like another wide receiver in return, because Puka Nacua and Derrick Henry are probably equivalent in production right now. You're paying for the high name for Derrick Henry. So that's kind of where that sucks at. Like I'm offering for Puka Nacua, I would offer like second round draft picks personally, because people picked them up off the waiver wire. Nobody put any value into them. So yeah, don't do that trade. Yeah. Or get another piece. Get another piece, because there's just such high upside with Nacua. And I think Mostert and Derrick Henry might be equivalent in not ability, but in fantasy production right now. Right now. So, all right. I mean, I don't know if we got anything else, you guys. I appreciate you guys chiming in. If you're liking and subscribing, you guys are wonderful. I would like to, hopefully Wheels will be back here tomorrow. I'm not sure. We're going to go over those games, and then hopefully we hear somebody wins like, $15,000. I want to hear these bets, man, especially on the Discord. A buddy of ours on the Discord at the Deep Threats, which should be in the link below, posted over 80 yards for like 10 different people. And I think like the payout's like $10,000 on like a $10 bet or a $50. I don't know what he put on it. But a lot of the people that he picked, there's only like 2 I wouldn't take with the over 80, which was like, I wouldn't take DK with the over 80, and there was like one other one just because DK struggles at getting the yardage all the time. So, but I love, we have a betting line in our Discord, and I love to see the chats and the conversation over it, because it is kind of fun to get into it, because we're all sacrificing a couple bucks out there. I ain't putting no $100 bets out there. I know guys that do, but I'm not doing it. So that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for showing up. Sorry it was just me. Sorry if it was boring. Sorry if it was drab. I will have more energy next week. Have a wonderful day, guys. Good luck in your fantasy. Bye.